Fox on top of one Mitt Romney on a roll and now keying in on, the Keystone State. A new poll showing him closing a double-digit gap now within 2 points of the president. This is Pennsylvania. I think Ronald Reagan was the last guy to win there. Many credit his debate performance, but maybe credit is, well, do this guy's way. Republican Pennsylvania Governor Tom Corbett, only one of 4 governors to get a grade of A in a new Cato study for his tax reform policies, which Cato described as real and credible and necessary. The fine governor joining me right now. Governor, good to have you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Neil. Thank you for having me on today.
You know, maybe your measures are doing the trick, Governor. They're helping Mitt Romney. Of course, it cuts both ways, right? If people in your state feel better, they might give the credit to the president. Of course, I'm sure you just want them to feel better and feel their lot's improving, regardless of who politically benefits. But why do you think these polls are narrowing, and what are they discovering?
Well, I think in regard to the polls here in Pennsylvania, what I see are people that are starting to go back to work. We're slowly getting the economy moving in Pennsylvania. We have growth going on in our energy sector, in our biotech sector, saved jobs down in Philadelphia with the refineries that were going to go out of business a year ago. So I think there's a positive feeling that is starting, and just starting. As it goes to the polls, I don't think that people of Pennsylvania are happy with where we've gone in the last 4 years. I believe those polls are narrowing, although I always tell everybody the only poll I look at is the one that's going to be on November the 6th. But it is much closer here in Pennsylvania than what I've seen other polls that have been in the national media in the last few days.
Why is that, Governor? I particularly noticed your state's polls that they really can have huge swings. And the president not too long ago being up in one poll 15 points and another 12 points and another 10 points. But bottom line, to get it essentially even now tells me either a lot of independents are coming out of the woodwork or a lot of the president's supporters are switching sides. What is it?
Well, I think a lot of his supporters that voted for him 4 years ago either are not going to vote, they've decided they're going to stand on the sideline, or are going to switch over to Mitt Romney in this election. Traveling across Pennsylvania, I've talked to a lot of people, Democrats and independents and even Republicans, who last time voted for President Obama, have said they're not voting for President Obama this time, and they believe we need a change in Washington, as do I.
But, you know, you've proven at the state level, I'm not blowing you smoke, Governor, but I'm always intrigued by what you've done because I tell a lot of people this can be done. It's doable. Simplify the tax code, make it more friendly to business and individuals, and you can do that. I mean, it's a tough, haul, but you can do it, right?
You could do it if you have the discipline and the fiscal discipline for the state. And I believe you can't spend more than you receive in revenues to the state. We're not Washington. We don't print money, and we don't continue to add to the debt in that respect. We have to control spending. And the spending prior to me getting here had increased from about $22 billion to almost $29 billion, and we've reduced it by almost $2 billion. Some of that money in the last budget before I took office was based on federal stimulus money that was one-time money and is gone. If you stick to the discipline that you can only spend that which you have, then you have to make really tough decisions. But it's interesting to note, I always ask people who want more money for various categories in line items, well, do you want me to raise taxes? And their answer to that is always no. So you can't have it both ways, and I believe I made a promise we weren't going to raise taxes as governor, and we're going to live within our means. The best way then to increase revenue to the general fund is to increase the business climate, to bring businesses to Pennsylvania, to keep them to Pennsylvania, and to see startups come to Pennsylvania. Just yesterday I was with what we call our Ben Franklin and the Ben Franklin is working very well, starting up new companies and incubating them and sending them out. So it's working in Pennsylvania.
Governor, thank you very much.